I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me well? I hope so. This is Soncerae here. Soncerae Monique. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you thumbs up the live stream. You got one job. Thumbs up the live stream. You can follow me on Instagram at the real Soncerae as well. Please be sure to check out my TikToks. I try to post them every morning. I also post other TikToks that I think are very interesting and germane to the topics that I discuss on my YouTube channel. All right. So, being as though I like to post a lot of thought provoking type of content, I get a lot of interesting people inside of my comment section. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I have no problem with people disagreeing with me. However, it is important that everybody respects each other's opinions, differences in opinions, and try not to step out of pocket. Everybody feels passionate about what they believe, even if it's something different from what you believe. So, as adults, what we should be doing is have emotional intelligence. That's one thing you get to choose as an adult, have emotional intelligence, and not be so anxious to allow somebody else's perspective of reality determine what kind of behavior you are going to display when you are on social media. Social media may be a virtual reality, but the key is it's still reality. You can mess up some relationships on social media or carry yourself on social media in one way, and it will spill over into your real life if you're not careful. All right? So be careful. People are seeing you, watching you. So just speak with a level of respect for yourself and other people. Hey, what's up, Lance? So I've been fair and balanced. I've tried to stay fair and balanced. I don't pick a side. I tried to pick a side, but I just cannot pick a side because both parties, both black men and black women, both got issues, problems. They need to iron it out. You know what I'm saying? I will holler. For now, you want time out. Okay, anyway, so listen. I feel like as I sit here and I talk about my personal perspectives of reality, some people disagree. I usually have the unpopular opinion, and let me tell you why I think that. I think the reason why I always have the unpopular opinion is because a lot of the time I'm speaking from a logical perspective instead of an emotional one. Majority of the people who are speaking passionately about what they believe in, they're speaking from a passionate place, which has something to do with emotion. But when I speak, generally I'm thinking from a logic, unbiased perspective. Now, when I start talking about what I feel, I'll let you know because it'll be a whole nother thing. What I feel and what I think are two different things. All right. So if I'm saying something that, you might think because I'm a woman, what I'm saying the reason why I'm choosing to say it has something to do with me being a woman, or the reason why I'm choosing to say it has something to do with me being a single mother, or me being black, or me being single. That's not why I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm usually saying what I'm saying because of the observations and the research that I have done to discuss whatever topic that I'm talking about. All right. So, speaking of doing research, I had to do some research first before I spoke about this. And I've been pondering on this for about 2 days. Okay. And I I don't like to generalize men. So when I'm talking about black men, I use two terms: alpha male, beta male. When I'm talking about alphas, I'm talking about good men. When I'm talking about betas, I'm talking about bad men. So I want to be clear with everybody. That's what I do, regardless to what the definition of alpha and beta is to everybody else. When Soncerae speaks of it, it's that simple. So I was in my comments, of course, and I saw some men coming there on this one video. No, on my community tab. And on my community tab, I asked a question. And the question had something to do with a post somebody had sent me um, about black men. And he asked me, he said, did I think that the reason why black men don't have their shit together is because of social engineering, right? Basically saying that the reason why a lot of black men don't have their shit together is because they are products of their environment. So he asked me this. Now, he was a black man himself and asked me this. So, as a black woman, I was like, let me think about this. To me, no, right? To me, instantly, I was like, nah, because I feel like, of course, the way that we are as adults has a lot to do with parenting, who our parents were, what our upbringing was like. Now, there's the people that grew up in the hood, grew up in the projects, grew up poor, and still ended up becoming fantastic adults. All right, we got that. It had a lot to do with their parents and what their parents instilled in them. Two things could happen with people during childhood trauma. Two things. One is they could have bad parents, and then they end up becoming worse or like their parents. Or they end up becoming the complete opposite of their parents. And we're just talking about traumatic childhoods. We're not talking about good parenting. Usually when good parenting is good parenting, the it ends up majority of the time those people who were raised by good parents end up being good. It's rare that somebody grew up with two good parents or one good parent and then they turn out to be shitty. That is so rare. It's much more common for someone to be a piece of shit if one of their parents was a piece of shit or both of their parents were pieces of shit. Okay. That's usually how it goes. And I know it's gonna be a lot of people that be like, my cousin, or my brother, or my brother friend, or this girl I know, she had both of her parents and she just this and this and that. There's an exception to a rule, of course. But the rule is usually your upbringing has a lot to do with what kind of person you turn out to be. And a lot of people try to downplay parenting like, nah, when are these people going to take accountability? At some point they got to take accountability. Usually a lot of the things that people do is it's unconscious at first. Like a lot of people are operating, they feel like they're operating on autopilot and they don't necessarily have control of what they're doing. A lot of people just strictly off of impulses and emotions. And if you weren't taught as a child to pump your brakes and stop and think about something before you act, you're going to be that type of person too. It has a lot to do with your upbringing. So the guy saying, hey, most black men ain't shit because of social engineering. And I'm saying, nah, if in fact black men ain't shit, I think it has something to do with their upbringing, not necessarily a Willie Lynch letter or slavery, even though slavery, how long was slavery? 200 years. And we've been out of slavery, not even, wait a minute, slavery was 500 years ago, right? So that had to be like 200, 300 years, and we only been out of slavery for almost 200, right? So I think that some of that is still affecting us, but not as much. I think racism is a thing, but whatever we were accustomed to as far as slavery went, I don't think that stuff is still as powerful as people would want it to be. I definitely get tired of men using the excuse of oppression being the reason why they aren't successful. And the reason why that bothers me so much is because there's so many successful alphas out there who are black. It's so many successful African American men out there. There's no reason in the world why any person of color should have an excuse right now because it's successful black men in all industries. All right. So no black man should have an excuse for why he isn't successful or he isn't making any money. And his excuse is the white man did this. Maybe in the 80s, maybe in the 70s, and maybe a little bit in the 90s. But it's 2021 now. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. We getting the same opportunities for the most part. We still might have to struggle a little bit to get the same equal pay as some people that aren't black, somewhat, but It's a lot of successful Black people. All right. So to me, I was like, nah, I don't think it has anything to do with social engineering. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that disagree with that. And so as I was thinking about this, I decided to put it into my community tab and do a poll. And so the poll, someone comes into the poll in the comment section, and he's like, I'm not sure I believe that. He says, I'm sympathetic to Black women, but y'all kind of circulate a lot of misinformation. And he put no shade. And I was like, all right, here we go. Because he put no shade. I already know. He said, like Black women being the most educated. He thinks that that's some bullshit that some Black women came up with, that Black women are the most educated. He said if 51% of Black men don't have kids and 60% are middle class, and he gets this, basically, he said, look at the blackdemographics.com site. He said, with those facts, how is it possible that most Black men don't have their shit together? I think this is more evidence that Black women have a myopic view of Black men, and the Black men you, not you personally, talk about are just the guys on your attractiveness radar. So it seems to me that he was saying a lot of ancient men, the reason why it's so many is because it's depending upon the woman who's saying it, and she just so happens to be attracted to men who ain't shit. Now, let me just talk about that for a quick second before I move on to, what this gentleman was talking about. But when a woman is continuously attracted to men who ain't shit, it's because she's going in the situation relying solely on her emotions and how it makes her feel or how he makes her feel. Even if the last relationship that she was in was toxic, if she meets another man who has similar behaviors and she could get that similar feeling that she had from that last relationship, sometimes she'll end up getting in that relationship all over again. That's how women keep attracting the same type of men, because they are emotionally immature. They go into situations only off of feeling. They don't necessarily think about everything else that's orbiting around whether a man is a good man or not. They just like, oh, he makes me feel such and such way. You cannot rely on your feelings as far as relationships go. It's so many things that you got to factor in first. Okay. And of course, when he spoke about attractiveness, a lot of women and men do this too. They go after people that they feel are extremely attractive. All right. People, men and women both do that. Okay. We know that. Both men and women do that. So back to what he was saying. He basically said Black women are making up this, Black women are circulating the information that Black men ain't shit. And if you look on blackdemographics.com, 51% of men don't have kids and 60% are middle class. Right? Now, when he listed that, it still didn't make any sense. That statistic didn't support the what he was trying to prove, the point he was trying to prove. So I don't know why he brought that up. But I went to go look at blackdemographics.com, and he is actually basing what he was saying off of like 2009 statistics. And I was like, was he basing what he's saying to me off of some old ass statistics? It's 2021. You're talking about statistics that was taken 10 years ago. I was like, how is that relative to what's happening right now when it comes to Black women? And so anyway, I told him, I replied in the comment section, I said, I just told you something a Black man sent me. This is information a Black man asked me. And somehow you made this Black woman's fault. And I'm like, I don't know where you got your information from, but this was a question, not an observation or statement. He was just asking me if and this was this man's perspective. This was a man saying men ain't shit. Most Black men ain't shit. He was asking me, why are most Black men not shit? So he was observing that within his own peers. So I'm like, I didn't state my personal opinion. And then he says to me after I say, I don't know how you blame this on women, or where you get your misinformation from, but I'm not stating my opinion yet about this. And he says, when he goes onto every Black female channel adjacent or opposed to the Black manosphere, this is what Black women are saying. Black women are continuously repeating that most of us are more educated. Now, I've said before that I feel like Black women are more educated. I've said that before. That Black women have within the past couple of years decided to get their education. We have listen, I graduated from college in my early 20s. So black women just now starting to do this. I don't know. I seen black women in college back then. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But I see, Mario, you're saying Asians are the most educated. Asians, he's not talking about as far as all of the races goes. He's talking about as far as black men versus black women, and who's more educated, the black woman or the black man. Okay. Um, wow, Mario, you talking about Derek Jackson exposed for cheating on his wife, the side chick called into Tasha K's show. Tasha K is so goddamn messy. But I'll get to that in a minute. um, Wise Lance on here. Has he ever made advances towards you? I've been hearing rumors. Candace Harris. Okay, everybody that's coming in here that's talking about rumors. Let me explain something about Soncerae to you. Okay. I stay out of a lot of drama and rumors on YouTube because that shit is detrimental as fuck. I stay away from the drama and the gossip because it's not really part of my personality. The type of person I am, I like to talk about ideas and like ambition and money and business and things of that nature. Things that are conducive and productive. So for people to keep bringing up rumors while I'm trying to have a serious conversation about something that I posted on my community tab is kind of strange to me because you guys aren't bringing anything valuable to the topic. You're just talking to me about some shit that you heard. Now, usually, you know, once I finish getting my point across, I'll talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. But could y'all please do me a favor and bring something valuable to the chat so that more people can come into my chat and want to have intellectual conversation, because I'm trying to bring my numbers up on my YouTube channel because I slacked so hard for such a long time that I no longer am, having a lot of people view my content. So what I need from my community to do, people that do enjoy being in my chats, let's talk about the stuff that actually matters a little bit or what's relative to the topic that I'm talking about. And then we could go talk about this stuff that seems so irrelevant to me. Like, like I ain't heard nothing about Lance. Lance be cool. And Derek Jackson, everybody know how I feel about Derek Jackson. You should know the history of me and Derek Jackson. I told y'all Derek Jackson was on some shit a long time ago. Derek Jackson is human, y'all. Even though he give good advice and he has good perspectives, he's still human. Okay? He's still, got a penis and can fuck something. And honestly, I wouldn't believe any woman right now who would come out and say anything about her and her experience with somebody who is as popular as he is. Okay. Anyway, so hey bullets. Um so basically the back to what this guy was saying to me. He was basically saying that black women always create this narrative that black men ain't shit. All right. Now, if we listen to the rumor about Derek Jackson, that's kind of true. Black men ain't shit. you know But according to this man, he thinks that that's just a bullshit. And he told me to go to blackdemographics.com, which has old 2009 demographics on it. Okay. So now there's an easy way to spot the difference between a beta and an alpha. And it's when a woman is being vocal about her observation or her experience. So when a man comes into my comment section, he'll either take accountability and man up fully, confidently about what's being said. And he'll say, hey, he'll know just by him, the way that he's communicating with me, I can tell that he knows that what I'm saying don't necessarily apply to him. So if he's the type of man that he the shit, he ain't shit, he know he the shit, then usually he doesn't have a negative response about what I'm saying because he knows it doesn't apply to him. It applies to a certain type of man. Okay. He'll acknowledge that said behavior is a pattern and is predominant with a specific kind of man. So if I'm talking about, I don't know, black men killing one another, if he ain't never killed nobody or he don't know nobody killing nobody, and he could come in confidently and be like, well, I know this is an issue that we have inside of the African American community, but it don't necessarily apply to me because I don't kill nobody and I don't know nobody that kills somebody. I ain't in the hood like that, so I don't know how that go. That's how an alpha male operates, but beta males operate very differently. Okay. A male will prove he is beta by comparing himself to women, mentioning things like, well, women also do said behavior. Okay. Even if that said behavior is something a woman participates in, a beta has only applied the double standard because it's convenient for him instead of himself evaluating, assessing himself to see if said behavior actually applies to him. And that's how I notice the difference between when I'm talking to a man who got his shit together versus a man who ain't shit. That's how I know the difference. So when I'm in, when I'm looking at my comment section or I'm looking at my chats, I can always tell when I'm talking to a man who has himself together versus a man who doesn't have himself together. Okay. Now here's another issue that bothers me about men. Because right now, what I'm trying to explain to just the men in general, y'all know that a lot of black men ain't shit. Y'all know this. So when black women say this, don't try to act like you don't know what we talking about. Because y'all observe each other. So you gotta know that it's a lot of men out there that ain't shit. But I personally think it's 50-50. I think it's 50% good men and 50% bad men. All right. Now, here's my problem with the alphas or the men who classify themselves as good men. Okay, I'm not going to say alphas because alphas don't have the problem that I'm about to say. I don't like when good men, self-proclaimed men, be like, it's not all men. Now, when you say that and you know there are plenty of black men who are underachievers or even men abusing or oppressing women, but you swear you're not one of them, just because you are the exception to the rule doesn't mean that what we're experiencing or what we're saying we're going through isn't happening. And it's happening enough for us to be able to agree in unison that this is what's happening with men. So even if it didn't happen to you and it didn't happen to your homeboy and didn't happen in your social circle, if you hear a lot of women saying this and then they can give you a specific experience, do not practice some type of erasure and say, well, simply because you're not that type of man, it can't be happening to us. We don't, that's fucked up. We don't like that shit. Okay. We know it's not you, but it's enough for them to notice the bad behavioral pattern and to affect the perception of the black man in general. So when it's men out here that ain't shit, instead of you being the man that's saying, oh, that's not me, and just walking away, you have to understand that it's enough of y'all that ain't shit for it to affect the reputation of black men in general. And this is when these dusties become a problem for y'all and not just us. These betas become an issue for not just us, but for all men. That's why it's important that alphas come together and try to encourage better behavior with these betas. Okay. Now, another thing, if you believe in patriarchy, and a lot of black men believe in patriarchy, but I feel like black men shouldn't because it's something that was taught to us by white people. Okay. Honestly, I feel like black people need to come up with their own traditions. We need to start doing things how we want to do things. And if we really want to keep it a buck, we was in Africa and they was doing all types of poly stuff out there. Okay. If you haven't noticed, a lot of African American people are hypersexualized, and I think it has a lot to do with just the kind of people that we are. And in Africa, poly was the thing. Everyone had, and they still got 2 and 3 wives and shit there. Okay. All right. But if you believe in patriarchy in any way, you have internalized sexism and misogyny in some type of way. Whether you feel like you're a good man or a bad man, whether you feel like you're alpha or you're a beta, if you believe in patriarchy in any way, a lot of that has to do with sexism and misogyny, and it's affecting women negatively. All right. If you treat women in an oppressive manner, like checking our tones, or when we're speaking, checking our tones when we speaking passionately, even if we're speaking passionately and it's rational, instead of accepting what we saying as factual, a lot of the times men need to control or police our voice. And I feel like when this man said this to me, when he said, oh, like, you know when black women who are opposed to the black manosphere are speaking, they're always talking about false narratives as far as black men go. And I want you guys to stop thinking that everything that we're saying about black men is false, or that everything that we're saying is coming from a malicious place, when a lot of the times it's just the facts of what we're experiencing and what we are observing. We just want to be acknowledged. That's why you do see a lot of black women, saying certain things. That I don't approve of the bashing. I try to be a lot softer with men, because I do realize that there's a lot of bashing. And we did go through a gender war, especially on YouTube, for a long time, where everybody was just throwing insults at each other, you know? Okay, and so if you're not a bad black man, why do you put so much energy into policing what I say as a woman, instead of being outraged by the men giving you a bad reputation? They're abusing women, they're harassing, raping, sexism, misogyny, disrespecting us. And the black manosphere altogether, you hear a lot of disrespectful stuff, or when women are being spoke of, we're spoken about in such a condescending manner. It's so much sexism and misogyny on top of it. It's just like, how could you sit there as a good man and be able to stomach it? If you are in fact the alpha, you have a lot of respect for women. Alphas usually don't have issues with women. They usually date the kind of woman that they want to date. They don't waste energy complaining about women that they don't date, or coming together doing what, all of these negative activities, degrading and disrespecting women, coming together as a group. That's beta. That's the pack doing that. And that's why when you hear me talking about a lot of these black male content creators on YouTube, they supposed to be in a leadership role, but they lead a lot of their betas in the wrong direction, because they encourage the pack to disrespect and degrade and be violent towards black women. And it becomes a problem, because now, as a good man, you got to look out for your sisters and your friends and your cousins and your daughters, because these men are producing more predatory men, and these men are going to come after your women. So as an alpha male, you should be encouraging these men to discontinue promoting this type of behavior and this type of narrative on a platform such as YouTube or any social media platform altogether, because the behavior on social media spills over into real life. And this is what a lot of women used to tell me about all of the time, when they would get into arguments and shit with their boyfriends, and their boyfriends would bring up niggas like Tommy Sotomayor. Like, that used to be a big problem with women. And now you got the Kevin Samuels. Like, I can't look nowhere on social media. I can't date nobody. I can't have a private conversation with no dude without him mentioning Kevin Samuels to me. If he on the internet, if he got a Facebook page or a YouTube page or Instagram, he know who Kevin Samuels is. It's rare a person be like, Kevin Samuels who? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, these people know who this man is. So it's like, if Kevin Samuels is pushing the message that men need to step up their game and improve, I need him to be more active with that, because a lot of men aren't receiving it the way that he would like them to. They aren't receiving it. The betas aren't. But more of you alphas should be outraged by the shit that you see it online. Okay, you see a lot of, not just online, but you see a lot of black men killing each other. Like the man that just killed his child's mother's entire family over a stimulus check, stuff like that. And I think in more than one of those experiences happened. I think three of those things happened. Okay, you have to start checking the emotional health and mental health of the men that you interact with. Like if you see your homies having issues with women, juggling women, don't be the beta that be like, oh, that's not my business. Be the beta that holds him accountable and stop being around his ass. Like you have to stop allowing these men to have social acceptance around you, because if they don't get any consequences or repercussion, their shit is going to start spilling over to you, I promise. It's not just women's issues here. These men are becoming more predatorial, and they're encouraging more of that behavior and producing more betas. It's, you can't, that is a problem. Like alphas need to step in and kill that altogether, because if it's overpowering and it's more betas than alphas, y'all gonna get killed off, and then we all doomed. Because like I said, when I always talk about the tree, when I'm talking about the low hanging fruit and the people at the top of the tree, the low hanging fruit, they're easy to get. Betas are easy to get. They're running rapid. It's so many of them. The pack is all over the place. If you're in a good leadership role, you would have these betas acting more civilized, and you can lead them to become alphas at some point. These betas need to be taught emotional intelligence and self control, and a lot of them do not have that. These are the guys that's out here creating these single mothers. And y'all don't care that it's single mothers out there until it's one of your daughters or your sister or your cousin or some shit like that, and you want to beat her baby daddy ass. You know what I'm saying? Then it didn't hit home for you. You know? That's when it become a problem. But I think a lot of men also have male superiority complex. Like the good guys will also say, and this goes to what I was just saying in a minute ago, where you want to beat the baby daddy's ass. Male superiority complex is like, you all say that you're the good man, and you know there's shit stains out there, but I'm the good guy, so let me protect you. And when you tell women that you're gonna protect them, like you got women out here that's looking for protectors because there's so many predatory men out here. So you got women out here looking for protectors, right? You got women out here looking for protectors. Listen, Madette 22. Um, I'm gonna get with you in a minute, maybe, because I don't like entertain beta energy. I don't like that shit. You feel with it. Like I said, I talk about y'all all the time. How y'all come into my comment section just shooting, and you be the only like low energy, underachieving, like underdeveloped mind nigga in the whole chat, and everybody's just looking like, why is he going hard for nothing? When betas do that, you prove how beta you are. You have to come in and you have to be negative towards, the person, the main person in the room, because you need some attention so bad. That's why you leaving so many comments without me answering. I'm speaking about something specific, and maybe I'll get to you when I'm done. But I don't like entertaining dumb shit. Like I don't like falling for the dumb shit, because like listen, you can see how stupid somebody is by how stupid they think you are. You feel what I'm saying? Like how people try to talk to you like real condescending and be rude and ugly, and don't nobody got time for all that. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, don't nobody got time for all that. Maybe I should just block you and keep it moving. I don't know, but anyway, back to what I was saying. So anyway, when you say that you're gonna go out here and you're gonna protect women, right? You tell women, I'll protect you. I'm a good guy. I'm gonna protect you. It puts a little bit of fear in a woman's heart that she can't be independent. Like she can't be safe without the presence of a man, because men can be predatory. Instead, of course, you want to protect your women and your girlfriends and your mothers and your sisters and all the females in your life. But you also have to be proactive and encouraging men not to be so predatory. Like, there's no reason in the world why I should be checking this beta inside of my chat when I got men in my chat. Men should be checking them. You feel what I'm saying? I shouldn't even have to do that. because these betas are y'all responsibility. How this dude coming at me is something that the men inside of my chat should just be handling. But the problem is, it's so many betas out here. A beta will look at another beta doing some shit and just allow that beta shit to keep going. And then you got alphas that be so scared sometimes, or they feel like it ain't their business, or they don't want to step out of pocket. And it's just like, when you see a man doing some behavior that you know ain't right, you know, men know, everybody can see that something fucked up is happening. You got to be man enough to handle it, especially when a woman, in the presence of a woman, oh, an innocent one too. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the type of woman that's just going out here being rah rah, no self control, out here disrespecting men, doing all types of stuff, just acting crazy, and then somebody like a beta pop her upside her head, and you were like, well, you was asking for it. I'm talking about innocent ass women. I'm sitting here minding my business, having a conversation, talking, you know, and in comes a beta, and no man in here thought maybe they needed to check this low energy troll. Now, don't get it twisted. Soncerae handles herself very well. I'll handle him. I don't need you to do it. As an alpha male, I don't need you to step up and protect me, you know, because I got a lot of this shit under control. But the fact that it wasn't enough men in here to check him says that there's a problem, because he shouldn't even have felt comfortable coming in here acting like that. No person, no, especially man, especially a male, should feel comfortable with trolling, because trolling is like a beta male activity. Oh my God. It's like you don't have shit else better to do. You don't know how else to handle your emotions. And you a grown ass person. Anybody that's at least 30 should know how to, shit, 25 should know how to handle their emotions, both male and female. If you don't got your emotions under control, and you flat out disrespected somebody that you don't even know, a complete stranger, not somebody that disrespected you. We ain't talking about the people that did something to you or provoked you directly. We talking about a person just walking down the street minding their business. When you having a bad day or you need to vent, you have to find something more constructive to do, fellas, with your anger, with your frustrations, with your low self-esteem, with your insecurity. You have to find something healthier than getting on the internet behind a fake profile and attacking everybody that you can get your hands on. Go work out. Go take some financial literacy classes. Go take a communications class. Go on a website like Skillshare. You can find any type of class and learn how to do anything other than what you're doing. Do yoga. Motherfucker, have a Coke and a smile. Something. Cook. Shit. You know? It's so many activities that we can get into. So anyway, so like I said, I went on to blackdemographics.com and started statistics there. And like I said, it was from 2009, and he was talking about the statistics of black men and women. So I looked on the Census Bureau, and the Census Bureau had 2019 statistics. So in 2019, it was 3 billion African Americans in the United States. And most of those African Americans are over the age of 18. And it's like 50% male, 50% female. 56% of African Americans own their own home. And 2% of those people that own their own home aren't married. Now, this was in 2019. Now, that's success right there. Out of those that aren't married, out of the half of them, they own their own homes, 12% of them are women. And 15% of those women are living alone. Out of 2 billion African Americans, 47% of us aren't married. 10% of us are divorced. And 33% of us have never been married. And when I seen that, I was like, all of these statistics that people be spewing about single mothers and the single mothers being poor and uneducated, all that shit been inaccurate. So the women that are opposed to the Black Manosphere aren't the only ones who have fucked up statistics. They haven't done the research, so they're just repeating some shit that they heard each other say. It's an echo chamber on YouTube. And it take a person going to go do some research first to be able to figure out what genuinely is going on. Now, let me explain something to you about statistics. And I've said this, I did a video maybe 3 times about statistical data because I was a data analyst for a long time. I can tell you, you will be able to find a statistic that will support your claim regardless. A university somewhere will have done some type of research to support whatever it is that you're talking about. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's a Black woman trying to figure out whether Black men ain't shit or a Black man trying to figure out whether more Black women are single mothers. You will be able to find a couple of people that did some research. The problem is, it depends on where they did it at, because they asked everybody. They only asked people within their reach. So statistical data is always something that you could never rely on. Never rely on that shit. I just told you statistics about people who took the Census Bureau in 2019. Do you know how many people didn't take the Census Bureau in 2019, including myself? So a lot of people are left out of that because they didn't even bother taking it. So when we're talking about stop relying on statistics that's especially done by white people, all right? And stop relying on old statistics too, 2019 statistics. Now, as far as education goes, on the Census Bureau website, it looks like most of us have graduated from high school. 30% of females have bachelor's degrees, and 30% of those males have bachelor's degrees as well. So it's like an even thing. When we talk about issues within the Black community, we're actually talking about a small percentage of problematic Black people. It's more of us successful than anything. So when we're talking about Willie Lynch letters and centralized plans, psychological shit where it's like social engineering and precipitated racial diversity and discrimination and all that shit, how we're underrepresented. I can't get this shit out of my mouth right. Underrepresented in science and tech and engineering and all that stuff. When we talk about all of that stuff, that's a small problem. It's not as big as we think, but it looks so big when we talk about it because it's such an entertaining, controversial type of thing to discuss. Okay? Problematic Black people are not that much of a problem. However, I do want to say that I don't like living in predominantly Black areas because I don't like how Black people treat each other. I'm not even concerned how other people treat us. I'm concerned about how we treat each other. How we treat each other be fucked up. All right? So, you think all Black men is dusty, so I don't care what you say. I don't think all Black men are dusty. Like I say at the beginning of all of my live streams, there's a difference between an alpha and a beta. An alpha's a good man, beta's a bad man. When I say the term dusty, I'm talking about low hanging, low energy, beta, underachieving, underdeveloped males. I'm not talking about men who got their shit together, men who graduated from college, men who have a decent job, men who take care of their kids, men who actually married and not cheating, men who started a business. I'm not talking about them. They know I'm not talking about them. They just listen to what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, I ain't a dusty. So only a dusty be like, oh, you think all men are dusties? No, you just won. What is your definition of alpha? What black man would call a simp? No. Alpha is a man who handles his business all across the board. When I hear black men use the term simp, I'm aware that simpery to them is when a man is putting money into a woman who isn't giving him anything in return. If you hear me talk about black men and black women as far as wealth goes, I always encourage black women to get their own money and not be so anxious to get another man's. Now, if a black woman is going through something, maybe she's having financial hardship and men want to help, that sounds good to me because men did that for me. When I couldn't take care of my son, because my ass had to be on bed rest my entire pregnancy, and my son's father didn't stick up and step in, guess who stepped in and took care of me and my son? Black men. Black men. That's why I can't sit here and pick a side. That's why I can't be with these women who drag black men all the time or encouraging women to get into hypergamy and shit like that. I can't do that. If I do that, I'm a fucking hypocrite. Too many black men stepped up and took care of me. I can't sit here and try to act like all black men ain't shit. I can't. And honestly, out of all of the years that I've been on YouTube, I've always been supportive of black men. I've talked about my terrible experiences with black men, and people have taken that as, oh, I must hate black men. No, I just got to tell you the bad part too. I can't sit here and fluff you. I'm not going to fluff you. I'm going to tell you the real shit. It's good men out here. I talk about my daughter's father all the time. Amazing man. He is an amazing man. He been that way. I'm not just saying this today. He been that way. He was that way when I met him. So it's good men and it's bad men. All right. Sexism is a white issue. Definitely not a white issue. The reason why I don't think that sexism is a white person's issue is because you got a lot of men out here who are looking at me sideways right now because of my sexuality. Because I'm so comfortable with who I am as a person. I'm so comfortable with my bisexuality. I talked about being in the lifestyle. I talked about being poly. I got an OnlyFans page. And men feel some type of way about that. Men feel like that's their permission to disrespect me. That's sexism. Hello? Black men, that's all up and through the black community. Just because a woman is comfortable with her sexuality and is honest about it doesn't mean you disrespect her. Because I'm here to tell you, I'm here to let y'all know that most women are sexual. Most women want to be fucked. I promise. I promise you that. It's women out here that try to make themselves look better than one woman. Oh, she a thought. Oh, she dressed this way. Oh, she do this. Oh, she do this. She got an OnlyFans page. She got her ass out on social media. Be the same woman that got a shit ton of baby daddies or a shit ton of kids. Just because you got a husband don't mean you not using your vagina when you got like 6, 7 damn kids. You feel me? I got single mothers out here judging me. They got 2 and 3 baby daddies, but they judging me for having an OnlyFans. Like they ain't never used a twat before. It's real. Sexism and misogyny is in black men and black women. All right? People got it. Now, let's scroll back to this. Derek Jackson, no, Lance. I have never heard anything bad about Lance. I don't keep my ear to the street as far as rumors about people, especially YouTube content creators. I can talk about the Black Manosphere from a couple of steps back because I try not to get into, like, I couldn't sit here and just name every person that's inside of the Black Manosphere. I can't sit here and talk about the who's who of that shit because honestly, I feel like what they doing over there is not my business. The only time I can mention them is if somebody mentions them to me. And I know enough general information about that specific movement to be able to have an opinion. But outside of that, I don't know them like that. I don't keep up with people on YouTube like that anymore. Because getting involved with them, getting so invested into them emotionally and what they're doing in their communities and the beefs and the drama and the rumors, how is that shit generating me any type of income? How is it generating me any type of money? It isn't. Okay, so Derek Jackson exposed for cheating on his wife. Is anybody surprised? Was y'all surprised? Because I'm not surprised, actually. I have an interesting Derek Jackson story. Derek Jackson. I'm going to tell my Derek Jackson story. So, Derek Jackson had just posted maybe his first handful of videos. Seemingly came out of nowhere and just started doing videos and shit. And I can't even remember when this was. It might have been 2015, 2016, some shit like that. He came out of nowhere just doing videos. And everybody was like, oh, he's so fine. And he is. Well, he was. Like, I don't think he's fine now. For some reason, he's grown out of fineness. He looks different now to me. He doesn't look as attractive as he used to. So, he was just all fine and shit. And I came into his comment section and said something inside of his comment section. And I don't know what I said, but he responded. And I wanted to work with him before that. I wanted to collab because I was the type of person back then. I wanted to collab with as many black men as possible because I was very supportive of black men. I wanted to build the channels of any man who was coming onto YouTube. I wanted to collab. In order to create a fan base or to get more views, collaborations is one of the best ways to go. But you got to find decent people to collab with. And I feel like during that time, I was trying to build my audience so hard, I wanted to collab with anybody. So if I felt like they had some type of, following, or they could possibly have a following one day if they had some type of potential and they were a black man, I wanted to show that there was some type of unification between me and black men because I saw the gender role. I saw black men and women having an issue. And here came Derek Jackson speaking positively about black women amongst all of this hatred towards black women. And so I was like, I'm going to reach out and we're going to do some type of collaboration with each other. And so I reached out to him and he wasn't answering. He wasn't answering. And then I seen a clip that he did and I just went ahead and just made a video off of a video that he had posted. And then I came in his comment section and I said something inside his comment section. And then this is what made him hit me up. And so we decided to do a sit down and do a powwow, a video chat with each other so we could talk about collaborating and working together and doing more content together. So he gets on the video chat with me. Now I remember what happened that very day because my car was repossessed right out my damn driveway. And I still to this day remember this like it was like it was yesterday because I said to Derek, my car was just repossessed out my goddamn driveway, right? And it was just such a bad day. Like it was one of those days that she was spiraling out of control and I should have just like rescheduled the interview. But the night before we did the video chat, I had done a shit ton of research about him because I didn't really know a lot about him. I just knew about the handful of videos that he did on YouTube. And so I went and I just looked for who he was. I seen a clip of him on CNN. I seen that he had been writing books and he had been doing all of this stuff. So he, had worked pretty hard for himself, right? So we get on the video chat and we start talking. And he said some shit to me. Like, I was like, did you watch any of my videos? He was like, nah, I don't really know nothing about you, but I did see your sexy ass pictures though. Now, everybody knows Before I was on YouTube, I was a model. I modeled for 6 years. So I had pictures of me, lingerie, up, shit like that. And so I was like, you mean to tell me that the most research you've done, like out of all of the stuff I've done with my career, your ass only seen some pictures? He said, yeah. I said, that's lazy. That was a lazy research thing. This nigga got mad at me and hung up the chat because I said that was lazy. I said that was lazy. That was some, you should have like got to know who you dealing with first before you got on the video chat. And sometimes when you say some real shit to somebody and they don't know what the fuck to say after that, the conversation just done. With him, it was just done after that. He didn't even know what the fuck to say to me after that. Conversation done. Over. And ever since then, I've had a bad feeling about this dude every time I seen him. I just don't like the way that he handled the situation. And so I wrote a blog about it. And inside of my blog, I was talking about how, as a woman, I just wanted him to acknowledge more of me as a woman. And so then Obsidian Ali, he had this obsession with Derrick Jaxn. He hated Derrick Jaxn. All of his videos was Derrick Jaxn. And Obsidian Ali was also doing videos about me as well, simultaneously. So this was another reason why me and Derrick could be on the same page. And we were talking about this because we were talking about Obsidian. Cause we couldn't believe that he was just consistently making content. Like Obsidian Ali would make content about me and Derrick Jaxn every fucking day. I'm talking about video after video after video after video. And me and Derrick was like, why? Like we could not understand that shit. I was like, I don't know why he's doing it. And so then after things went the left with me and Derrick and I wrote a blog about it, Obsidian did a video. He tried to make it seem like I was so pressed to be romantically connected to Derrick, and he swerved me, which was not what happened at all. We weren't talking about anything personal. At least I wasn't. I didn't come into the situation on a personal tip. And so it led a lot of people to believe that me and Derrick had some like romantic thing together and he broke things off with me and I was just butthurt and all this weird stuff and a lot of rumors. Anyway, and then I remember there was an uproar with women, maybe like a year later or something like that. Women were extremely upset because they found out that his ass was married. Now I couldn't understand. No, he had just had a baby. And I couldn't understand why women were so upset about that. Cause it was like, why are you mad? I mean, he give y'all relationship advice. He ain't sleeping with y'all. He helping you find somebody to sleep with. But I guess the dynamic of the situation changed when they found out he was with somebody. So people was like upset. Oh, he got a baby. He ain't somebody that you need to be getting advice from. And then they start talking about girls was coming out the woodwork, giving screenshots showing, how he had cussed them out and he had did this and he had did that. So when we're talking about Tasha K's rumor video where she interviewed Derrick Jaxn's side chick, to me it's just like, are y'all surprised? You can't be surprised. This is not something you should be surprised about because Derrick Jaxn is that type of nigga. He that type of nigga. And I think they expect him to be perfect because he's successful in a certain part of his area of his life. Like he gives relationship advice to women, but it doesn't mean that he's applied it to his own life. Like I said before, a lot of times it's hard to apply what you teach to your own life. I can look at other people's stuff with logic and unbiased all day and be able to tell you something amazing to do. But when we are involved with the people we are involved with, our emotions get clouded as well. It's sometimes it's easy for us, even with us giving you relationship advice, we're still human. We may do the research, we might take the psychology classes and we might do all this stuff and be able to counsel all of these other people and you know we might be certified life coaches and all this shit, but it's still at the end of the day when it comes to our own life, a lot of times no one is counseling us, we counseling everybody else. I talk to my family all the time. I'm talking to hundreds and thousands of people. And what the fuck? Why is this lady screaming? I talk to hundreds and thousands of people all day, every day, about their lives and what's happening with them and whether or not they okay and all types of shit, right? But you have to ask yourself, who doing that with me? And for a long time, I didn't go and get counseling myself. I didn't get counseling until my son was born because I had postpartum depression. I needed to get out of postpartum depression because I did not want to be feeling like that. And it's a lot of people who are in denial as far as depression and their relationships and all of that stuff. They don't need a relationship counselor. They don't need none of that stuff. I didn't think that about myself. I just went ahead and got some counseling so I can heal and move forward. You feel me? So, yeah. So, that's all everybody got to say about Derek Jackson before I go. Because I'm done. And it just seems like um, what I was trying to teach y'all wasn't interested in. Damn Candace and damn Terica. Damn went on some other shit. So I'm done. I proved my point. This was just supposed to be about whether black men ain't shit or not. And I guess if we gonna be talking about Derek Jackson being exposed, then that means black men, for the most part, ain't shit. Because to the average woman, Derek Jackson is their go-to guy for relationship advice. And it's unfortunate that he's, he not doing too well. I don't know. Sounds like rumors to me. But anyway, I appreciate y'all being here. Make sure you thumbs up the live stream. I gotta go. Have vision and stay focused. Namaste.